Hi, my name is Diana Chang. I'm a certified quantum touch practitioner. I help people to relieve physical and emotional pain through quantum touch and other modalities. Why do I do that? Because I love helping people to be pain-free and to live happily and wholeheartedly. Quantum touch is a non-invasive, light touch around the painful or tight muscle to relax the area to allow more blood flow. Now, this increase in circulation allows more oxygen and nutrients to speed up the healing process naturally. Now, what is mental posture? Mental posture is how we position our mind through thoughts to either make us feel good or feel bad. Good mental posture makes us feel good. Bad mental posture makes us feel bad. Now, how does mental posture affect us? In every way. To understand how, we need to look at our ancestor, Mr. Caveman. How he survives when he faces danger. He has 3 coping strategies. He can 1. Fight the lion. 2. Run away. 3. He can freeze. Freezing numbs his feelings, so it will be less painful when the lion starts chewing him up. And there is a chance that the lion might not even like frozen food. Remember, the lion does not have a microwave oven. Physiologically, if Mr. Caveman is not frozen, he'll be either fighting the lion or running like crazy. We call this fight or flight state. Physiologically, a whole bunch of things changes. First, his blood pressure is going to stay up because his heart is pumping really hard for blood to go to his big muscle and go to his brain. His blood sugar is going to be high and stay high so that his brain has a lot of food and his big muscle has a lot of fuel. His breathing is going to change from slow and deep to fast and shallow. His muscle is going to tense up so that he can run fast, and he's going to sweat like crazy so that he doesn't get overheated. His blood flow distribution changed big time because right now it is not a priority to digest his lunch, nor is it a priority to care about his immune system. He's going to feel very fearful and anxious because a whole bunch of hormones is going to help him to raise his thoughts. And he's going to be in this state as long as he is still in fight or flight. In the ancient times, this fight or flight response has served Mr. Caveman well in his survival because he's not at the top of his food chain. Within seconds, this chase is over. Mr. Caveman either gets eaten or he runs away. Relaxation responses kick in and everything go back to normal. Today, we still have the same instinctive responses in our body. When we are busy, or things are going slower than we want, or we're just at work, or at home, or we're dealing with family. But you say, Diana, this is just my daily life. That's right. According to research, a person have 50 of these stress responses average per day. We no longer stay there for minutes, but for hours, days, or years. So physiologically, we're chronically in this fight or flight mode. It affects our blood flow distribution, our blood pressure. No wonder our sugar is elevated all the time. It affects blood clotting, breathing. Muscles tense up all the time. You can feel it on your neck right now. It affects our digestion. And many of us experience fight or flight in the form of a panic attack. No wonder that 75 to 90% of the doctor's visits are stress related because we are always in fight or flight. We just have a new name for it. It's called stress. So what can we do? In addition to other stress reduction activities, such as exercise, rest, and eat well, which is all good, one of the easy things that we can do is to get out of the stress state as quickly as we can. Well, or not even have a stress response to start. Well, how are we going to do that? Keep good mental posture. Remember our definition of mental posture? It is to position our mind through thought so that we feel good. Now the secret is we need to feel good as long as we can. We want to hang out there with that good feelings and let those good feelings linger throughout your day. Our end goal is to have positive emotions so that we feel good. What are the positive emotions? Such as creativity, hope, fun, love, happiness, peace, empathy, compassion, gratitude, calmness, and passion, to name a few. We consciously generate thoughts that produce these positive emotions because these positive emotions help us to induce a relaxation response, which takes us from the stress response back to normal state. You see, we cannot feel stressed and feel calm at the same time, nor can we feel stressed and be creative at the same time. These are conflicting emotions. So then you'll ask, how am I going to stay in these positive emotions all day? Well, I have a few techniques for you. One is to make your daily decisions based on how you're going to feel. Is this choice going to make me feel positive emotion or negative emotion? But be careful. There is an immediate emotion which is short-lived. And if you fast forward time, there will be what I call an after emotion, which is a long-term emotion. The immediate emotion, whether that be positive or negative, it's what our subconscious mind has been conditioned to feel through association in our past. We'll feel a high when we do that same thing that generates the same emotion. Whether that be that cup of coffee, after I drink it right away, I'll feel my headache go away, or feeling angry at that person, that would actually give me a high. Yes, we can be addicted to negative emotion too. The addiction of this high works the same way as drugs addiction to our brain, which generates chemical to make us feel great. The after emotion is the long-term feeling that we get after that immediate high. So obviously, we want to make decision based on how we're going to feel on our after emotion, not the immediate emotion, because we want to feel good for the long term. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, it's not so easy to change our old habit. I know, it is an addiction. Basically, you want to change habit based on all those positive emotion again. Instead of telling you that you cannot eat this and eat that, add to it. Think that creating a new recipe, it's fun. Make it a game. I'm going to make another presentation that talks about how to change old habits happily. Let's go to technique number 2. I call that pick up your ... and do something. It means act. Do some action so that you path your way to feel good. For example, you can actively decline to be immersed in negative emotion generator. One negative emotion generator is the news. You know, after you watch the news, you're going to feel the world is not safe, you're going to be scared. You're focusing on all the bad things that it's likely not going to happen to you. So when you see the news is on the TV, you can pick up that remote and switch the channel. Or when your spouse is watching that TV and you know he is or she is addicted to watching news every day, you can pick up your feet and walk to another room. You can pick up your fingers and pluck your ears. Another negative emotion generator, it's people. You know there are some people in your life that will always drag you down. They'll always judge you. They'll always make you feel bad. Then I want you to actively decline to pick up that phone when you see that person on the caller's display, unless you're ready for the drag that day. It is your choice. No, you don't have to pick up the phone. Technique number 3. Feel your emotions 100%. Feel it completely. Do not ever repress any bad emotions. Because the fastest way to get over any bad or unproductive emotion is to allow yourself to feel it completely. Otherwise, you're going to stay with that emotion for a long, long time. Just learn from our kids. When they have a tantrum, they get over that anger or sadness in minutes. It's the adults, it's the parents who don't allow themselves to feel it, stay angry. Because we feel we're bad mother or bad fathers if we get angry at our kids. Well, maybe at that point, they deserve us to get angry. Let yourself feel angry completely. Just don't say or act when you're really angry because you regret your action later. You regret what you say later. But that does not mean you cannot feel it. You can still feel it completely. Allow yourself to feel angry at your kids, angry at your husband, angry at your wife, angry at your parents, angry at your mother and father-in-law. That's okay. Repressing bad emotion is the worst ever feeling habits. But the society and our culture encourage that. Real men don't cry. Or you look unprofessional if you get angry at work. Well, you can get angry, but just don't say or act, because when you say or act when you're really angry, you regret what you have said. But that does not mean that you cannot feel it completely. You can still feel it discreetly. I help patients on a daily basis to get rid of these bad emotions because they get stored up in your system. And it's not like you want to store your anger. Nobody wants to store the anger. It happens automatically through our autonomic nervous system. So if we repress it, it's going to store in your body as tightness, as pain, or as illnesses. So if you suspect that you have any pent up, stored up emotions in your system, contact me, give me a call, email me. Lastly, there is a special case. Understanding that there is this type of bad emotion that feels very different. It is very easy to tell. Because say the bad emotion is anger, you feel off the scale, intense anger, you don't know why. It feels like you have to fix it right now at all costs. You feel extremely uncomfortable. You want to blow up, or if it's sadness, you feel depressed and you cannot help it. So you actually feel confused. The intensity of this type of bad emotional trigger, it's way too big to be fixed by the previous easy techniques. The cause of these triggers are usually unresolved, intense bad emotion in the past, usually in our childhood, that make you feel very unsafe or unloved. This emotional charge, if unresolved, will stay in our system. And you can feel it, you just don't feel good. And after it's released, you feel light and happy. So whenever there's a match to this similar feeling, we'll automatically react through the roof to do anything we can to protect ourselves not to feel it again, because it was so bad. This type of unresolved emotion needs to be dealt with gently. So it's best to have some guided help to go through the process with you. So give me a call if you feel that you have something like this. Conclusion. Like keeping good physical posture, keeping good mental posture also takes practice. In today's world, switching from the stressed to relaxed state, I consider it as a life skill. There are many tools in addition to the above that I've touched on, such as meditation and EFT or tapping, are also very effective in helping you to keep good mental posture and live your life wholeheartedly. And lastly, I want to thank all these photographers who have donated your awesome photos that make my presentation possible. Thank you. And I like to quote the Dalai Lama that happiness is not something that is ready-made. It comes from your own action. So go try out the techniques and tell me how it goes. Talk to you later.